Welcome back to Exploring Whiskeys. I'm Eric.
I'm Kevin, and today we're going to explore our first Colorado whiskey. I know we've talked about ones that get distributed in Colorado, but not ones that get distilled in Colorado. So this is A.D. Law, the 4 Grain Straight Bourbon. They do have a handful of other ones. I think they have a bottled in bond. I think they were one of the first whiskey distilleries to do a bottled in bond in Colorado.
Okay.
Which I thought was kind of interesting. So they went through the process of being bonded and all that kind of fun stuff. They also do is it cast strength version as well. This is obviously it's a 4 grain, but it's a little special in the way they do it. So it's the regular yellow dent number 1 corn or whatever it is, and then they source everything from local farms.
It's an artisanal. It's an artisanal blend.
Yes. So I would assume we should be able to compare this to the Southern Revival, the Grand Garcier, the Blonde Brothers. I don't know. I really don't remember too much specifically about that. So
I'm expecting it to be to smell young, taste young.
Well, I don't know.
I don't know. We have just not had good luck with our
artisanal.
No.
I think there's a very specific note when it comes to those that is not necessarily in our profile. It is a cool bottle. Before I'm going to get into nosing and drinking already, geez, I was
just anxious.
It's all the name is etched in on the glass or raised, I guess, not etched.
$bucks on their bottle.
Yeah, it's a very cool bottle. This is an original, I think, labeling. The current one is more of a yellow label across here. It's interesting.
I will say, out of the ones we've had so far,
better?
Yes.
Nice. On par with, because the Grand Garcier was good. Now that was a Tennessee whiskey versus a bourbon. And I think the Southern Revival was a bourbon and the Blonde Brothers were the bourbon. We did get a comment on the Blonde Brothers that said that apparently their White Dog is delicious. And I was just like, that's interesting. Then I asked, I was like, and where did you find it? Because I can never find White Dog outside of the itty bitty bottles of Buffalo Trace. And even that's hard to find.
The only other Blonde Brothers I found is their vodka.
Yeah, nice. Okay. Is that their White Dog then?
Probably not.
Different distillate.
That's at, I saw it at Grapevine.
That nose is not bad.
The nose is not bad. The palate, again, I think it's the best out of the artisanals we've had so far. Get
the artisanal. Like I do get some of that graininess that we tend to pick up off of a lot of the artisanal ones. But it's not overly sharp that I would expect for a 3-ish year whiskey. On the website it says 2.
I feel like they're so young. I feel like it was just rushed.
Yeah, it says that it's 2. Oh, other kicker. I did like that. They never outsourced their whiskey. They opened their company and aged everything 3 years, distilled it, aged it for 3 years before they ever sold a bottle.
That's just gotta be painful. To sit
there and wait. Yeah, so they never did a sourcing or
you got plenty of time to work on your marketing campaign.
Good point. Maybe that's just somebody got really bored to design these bottles. Like, I'm going to do something fun with these bottles.
No, I do like the bottle.
It is a cool bottle.
It's interesting though that they spent some bucks on raising their name on it rather than just a nice rectangle shaped bottle, and black and the gold makes it look kind of fancy.
The shape for the bourbon bottle, that looks more decanter-ish than it does
the fancy look. Like, hey, you've got it in your dining room.
Bit. I kind of like the nose better than the palate, honestly. I mean, the palate, there's nothing wrong with this at all. It's not overly complex. It's pretty just
grainy.
Whiskey, grain.
There's kind of there's a fruit.
Yeah.
The grain overpowers the fruit, though.
Yes.
I was saying the other way. I enjoy the palate more than the nose.
I thought there was just a little bit more to the nose. Honestly, it's just the nose wasn't as bad as some of the other ones we've had.
But again, I wasn't going into this episode with high hopes. So totally judge the book bottle by its label on this cover.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, it's kind of an interesting. So that based out of Colorado, one, they source all their stuff locally. They have like 2 farms farms that they very much rely on for their wheat. It's Colorado wheat, it's Colorado rye, and Colorado barley. The corn doesn't specify Colorado, so it's probably the commodity corn is my guess, but I don't know. Maybe it is all artisanal, or maybe that's the difference. Maybe just 40% of it is artisanal grain, 60% is regular bourbon corn.
I would think if the corn was from the state of Colorado, that would just everything's from here. Clearly
they would say
it.
it. Yeah, I would agree. I really don't mind the nose. I like the nose. The palate is a little flat. There's some fruit notes, but it's a little flat.
The nose for me, I pick up some ethanol.
It's a solid proof. 96. I mean, that's a solid.
I get more ethanol than anything. The palate, I get the grain. And I get the grain. I'm picking up a sweetness from a fruit, but I haven't really kind of zeroed in on.
I also get a little mint.
Mint?
A little mint. Not sure why I'm making mint 2 syllables, but mint. Almost like a little bit of the rye trying to come out.
Yeah, that's probably what you're picking up.
Yeah, it's just it's not overpowering by any means, but it's just trying to come out, and I'm getting a little of that, like an herbal mint tea type note.
Honestly, I was expecting this to just be way heavy corn.
No, it is not heavy corn sweet.
No, that's what I was expecting.
No, the wheat's not overly sweet.
No.
It's not an overly sweet whiskey. I mean, there's sweet notes, but it's not a super, super sweet whiskey by any means.
No, but I think
it's not bad.
That 10% of the rye definitely.
It's there.
It comes through. It comes through.
Yeah, it definitely shows up. I thought the bottle was kind of neat. That's the only reason why I bought it.
I'm curious for the R in Denver next time I'm out there.
I don't know. I didn't look like specific for the address as to where they're at. But so going into their website, the things that they really went into was the fact that they were using the local Colorado grains. There's 2 particular farms that they really are tapped into to produce a lot of their grains. The other things they get into are the fact of the impact of Colorado. So they do an open air fermentation, which I thought was kind of interesting. You don't hear that too much from, none of the big ones do that because then they can control it as much. So they're mashing it all together, mashing all these grains together, and then they're leaving it as an open air fermentation. So other molds and yeast, like everything can kind of get in there, is going to impact that. They're also talking about the thin air and the impact of the thinner air on that, mile high, right? And then you also have the climate difference.
I think for them it comes down to it's just a shorter warm season.
Way shorter summer.
Yeah, way short.
Way shorter summer, much longer winter. Their argument on their website was their winters are different than Kentucky winters, though. Kentucky, it's cold and the humidity is low or high. Which one would that be? Probably low,
There'd
right?
be more humidity here than there is there.
Yeah, so they were talking about the barometric changes and the changes in all the things that, because they're a mile high, and the impact of their winters. Like they have a more active winter. Like everything I've heard about Colorado is, yes, it gets cold. Yes, they get a lot of snow, but it's also almost always sunny.
There's more. I remember when going skiing out there, you see the billboards. There are more sunny days in Colorado than there are in Florida.
Yeah, so there's an impact just having the sun hit the rick houses, and it's going to be different. It's not bad.
Again, out of the ones we've had, I think this is pretty good.
I agree. I like this. I like this as a straight bourbon. I like this as a 4 grain. This is, I will say, 100% the best 4 grain we've had on the show. It's not the best 4 grain I've ever had.
But I think, at least for me, I think with all these artisanal ones we've had, I think a lot of them would probably be better if they hung out in the barrel.
Hung out a little longer.
Just a little longer.
Yep. And I think that is something that they've focused on.
I would imagine all of them are.
Yeah.
You got to get something to.
You gotta get it out.
You got to get
to
something
start making
out.
some money.
Then you got to put something else in another rick house to let it sit a little longer.
Yep.
Play around with that, and then release that one. Kind of see what review you get on that.
It's got some of the 4 grain artisanal sharper notes, but at 95 proof, at least 3 years, if not a little bit more. It's a solid bottle. It's not the cheapest bottle. It's about $60. That seems pretty normal for those artisanal bottles, in that 50 to 60 range is probably pretty normal. The grain's more expensive. The bottle's freaking more expensive. And I can't wait to finish this and see if I can peel off all the labels and make that into figure out how to, I don't know what to do with the walls that's etched in there. But the back has like a cool little emblem etched into it. It's not etched, it's raised. It's not etched. So I got to figure out what I can do with this bottle.
We could put the Whiskey Club sticker on it and make a Whiskey Club Infinity bottle.
Drop it right over the top of it. Yes, you could put an ounce of every whiskey that we taste in every whiskey club meeting.
End of the year,
and at the end of the year,
everyone gets a pour.
Serve it. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. It's really not a bad idea.
I think we shoot for that.
Okay. I'm down.
We'll write it in the bylaws.
There you go.
It's got to happen.
It's got to happen.
I think it's pretty good.
I would buy it.
And actually, the next time I'm out there, I would try to find some time just to poke my head in the distillery. Just
absolutely.
Try to do some sampling.
I'm really interested in their bottle and bond, because then you know it's at least 4 years and 100 proof. Mm-hmm. That seems like that would be really good with a whole nother year of aging and a little bit more proof. Not crazy. I mean, it's 95, so it's not going to make that big of a difference. But the extra year might.
I think the extra year would make more difference in the proof.
And I think they make a cask strength. So a 4 grain cask strength bourbon could be honestly, that could be hit or miss. That could be really good, or that could be
just too much heat.
That could be too much. I'm not sure, but the bottle and bond definitely could be very solid. They also have a handful of other releases too, but those were the 3 main ones that I saw in their bourbon line, because I think they have a rye line and a whiskey line.
Well, if this is their start, then I think it's worth poking in there and checking it out.
Let alone, like I said, this is OG label. They might have more. I don't. Who knows? Or it might be totally different now. I wonder if there's a totally different flavor profile in what they release now with the yellow label versus what they used to release. This is probably 2 to 3 years old.
Okay, I'll keep you look out for the liquor stores around here and see if anyone's got it.
Yeah, so, A/B test would be interesting on that.
Overall, I think for the OG, it's an artisanal. Again, for me, this would be number 1 so far. This and
the Grand Grosier, the Fugitives one, I really did enjoy that, but that was also, was that cask strength? That had a lot of proof to it too.
This one's I think
this is a little nicer, like, overall presentation, because it's only 95.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you tried anything else from there, obviously, as always, we'd love to hear your feedback. What should we look for if we're out there? Steer us. Go there, try these, try this one, try that one. Don't try that one. Kind of steer us in the right direction. But if you did enjoy the episode, we encourage you to hit that like button at the bottom of the screen.
While you're down there, if you could subscribe to the channel if you're new, and hit the bell icon, get notified every time we put out a new episode. And thank you very much for watching.
See you on the next episode.
Bye.
Cheers.
Cheers. It says bye. What the hell was that?
Okay, Kevin, bye.